Crimson Bride, Chapter 10 Last Hope. After finishing their coffees, Susie and Mick went their separate ways. Mick left Coffee Zora's and was ready to head to the pawn shop to get some much-needed cash. Mick remembered he still had the recorder in his pocket from the interview with Mr. Jenkins. He realized it must have still been recording when he was unconscious at Jenkins' house. He played the recording while walking from the coffee shop to the Last Hope pawn shop. What he heard made his hands tremble, both from fear and excitement. He had proof, the solid gold proof that the attack on Jenkins was committed by the Crimson Bride herself. Now he needed to persuade Bill Simpson to get him airtime for his show. But firstly, he needed to get to the Last Hope pawnbrokers and get his cash. Walking only 2 blocks from the coffee shop, Mick was at the front door of the surprisingly clean facade of the Last Hope pawnbrokers, which most people would think, with a name like Last Hope, you would have pictured it like the old back-alley shady places in movies. But no, in fact, this place was bright and very neat. The white lettering on the blue background of the sign looked very expensive. Mick pressed the buzzer on the door. He heard the click, pushed the door open and walked in. The inside was just as nice as the outside. Mick's smile was large on his face as he gazed at the items in the cases. The glass cases formed a horseshoe in the center of the large store. Mick could tell this place had been cleaned recently, as the smell of carpet cleaner was very evident to his senses. He reached the counter where the pawnshop owner gave him a welcome but greedy smile at the sight of one of his most frequent clients. "Hey, Mick, how's it going?" asked the smartly dressed man behind the counter. "Hi, Simon. Not great. It's been a hell of a week. But hey, you're into conspiracy, ghosts and all that, right? You might get a kick out of this." "Mick, how many times must I tell you this? Mick, how many times must I tell you this? I am a member of the HHS, the Harrow Historical Society. We deal with the truth behind the myths and legends of this town. But I will admit I do have somewhat of a fascination with the paranormal." "Yeah, I remember you telling me. Well, get a load of this." Mick went on to tell Simon about the story he had uncovered of the Crimson Bride, about all the strange things that had happened to him, and about the detective that had been keeping a very close eye on him throughout his whole investigation. "Do you want my friends and I to look into this for you?" asked Simon. "No, that's okay. But hey, if I'm found dead in Harrow Hall, feel free to investigate all you want." Mick said this with a smile that didn't reach his eyes which clearly conveyed worry. "I will do that," Simon said to him flatly. Mick shivered at the response, and quickly changed the subject to the reason he had come here in the first place. "How much can I get for this?" Mick reached into the front pocket of his jeans and fished out the ring that he had taken from the bum earlier in the week, and tried to hand it to Simon. Something changed. Something felt strange in Mick's mind. Don't do it," said a feminine voice in his ear, and an icy chill ran down his spine. He spun around to see who was behind him. No one but himself and the pawnbroker was in the entire shop. "Are you all right, Mick?" Simon asked with concern clear in his voice. "Huh? What? Yeah. Did you hear—" Never mind." Mick shot back, now back to focus. "Are you sure? Maybe I should call an ambulance for you." An ambulance? For hearing something that wasn't there? Was he really going mad? Mick thought troublingly. Simon handed Mick a tissue. "What's this for?" Simon grabbed a small mirror from the counter and gave it to Mick. He looked into it and was shocked to see that his eyes were bleeding. "Crap!" Mick muttered to himself as he tried to wipe his eyes with the towel that Simon had handed to him. "Should I call an ambulance?" asked a concerned Simon. No, I'm sure it's nothing." "Mick, your eyes are bleeding. That's not nothing." A look of deep concern was now etched on Simon Turner's face. "I'll be fine. I'll go and get checked once I'm done here," Mick lied. He had no intention of going anywhere near the hospital when he was done at the pawnbroker's. He wanted to get back to his investigation and make the pitch for his new show. "Fine, but you had better make this quick so you can go and get to the hospital. If I hear you haven't gone, either I or one of my society will track you down and drag you there." Okay, I got it. So this is what I have for you." Mick reached into the inside pocket and pulled out what looked like a used tissue. At the sight of the tissue, Simon rolled his eyes. "What is that?" he asked with a look that said, "What am I about to see?" Mick unwrapped the tissue and revealed the sapphire-laden ring. Simon's face turned from concern to fascination in the blink of an eye. He carefully took the ring from Mick and examined it closely. "Well, this is exquisite," said Simon while studying the ring. Simon held the ring close to his slightly pointed nose. With one hand. The other slipped under the desk and retrieved a very small magnifying glass. Simon examined the ring for a very long time, then looked back to Mick. "Well, the sapphire is real and of very high grade. However, it is set in silver and not gold, so I can't give you too much for it." With any other pawnbroker, Mick would have been upset to hear this. Simon had always been fair, though. Maybe it had something to do with Simon's hyper-rationalism. Or maybe he was just a nice guy. Whatever the reason, Mick just stood as Simon calculated the value of the ring. $300, and before you ask, Simon said sternly, preempting Mick's argument. "Yes, that is the best I can do." Mick knew better than to complain about the offer, because he had pawned enough stuff to know that if Simon set a price on an item, the next time he saw it for sale in there, the price would have only gone up by a few bucks. "Thanks," Mick said, and he watched Simon take out the money from the register and count it out onto Mick's hand. 290, 300. There you are, Mick. Good luck with the show. Mick raced with all haste back to his apartment. He had another passing bitching match with Frank, went to his apartment and sank down exhausted, but still exhilarated, onto his scruffy sofa. After chain-smoking 2 smokes, he had fallen asleep into a night of harsh nightmares. Thrashing, sweating, whispers of echoing screams invaded his mind that night. He was roused from his troubled slumber by a call from Selina. She wanted to meet him in the local park. Great! Just what I need right now. Mick thought out loud in anger. He got up, showered, got quickly dressed and headed to the park. He found Selina on a bench by the pond in Founders Park just outside of the town hall. "Well, I'm here. What do you want?" Selina's eyes shone with tears, but she fought hard to keep them from falling. She wasn't going to give this jackass the satisfaction of seeing her cry. "Don't start, Mickey. We need to sort this out between us," she said in defiance of her feelings towards him. "And how exactly are we going to do that, huh? How do we fix a relationship that we both ruined so many times?" "Well, let me start by apologizing for running off and leaving you when you needed me." Mick set himself down heavily next to her. "Wow. This is the first time I've heard you actually apologize." His voice overflowed with the bitterness as he said these words. Hearing them hit Selina like a bullet to the heart, and she began to cry. "Stop it, Mickey. I'm really trying to apologize here. I know what I did was wrong. I know that I'm a horrible person. You don't have to remind me." As he heard her say it, and mean it, Mick's heart broke slightly. After all, he was the one whose drinking and violent outbursts drove her into the arms of another man. He took a deep breath and said, "No, you don't have anything to apologize for. At all," he admitted. "I was the one who drove a wedge between us. I was a mess back then, even before I went to war. Too much drinking and making you feel like you were less than you are. I've always thought you were. No. Are. The best thing that ever happened to me." Selina was truly shocked by this confession from a man she had always loved, but was too afraid of to say. Had Mick really changed that much? If so, maybe there could be a chance for them. He buried his face in his hands. His mind was fogged and his body was starting to fatigue from the previous events. He sighed. "Look, I don't know if I can fully forgive you for what you did." He paused for a second, squinting with a slight sting in his eyes. "I'm not a saint. I know I didn't help things. I'm willing to keep things civil for our mutual benefit. Neither of us profits from this if we can't cooperate, Selina."